If you're a mid-level to C-suite leader who wants to own your growth and figure out your next small, brave move to achieve your leadership goals, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Small Brave Moves podcast, a weekly deep dive on how to be braver in leadership and in life for exceptional results. I'm your host, Nicole Bianchi, best-selling author, certified master executive coach, NSA certified speaking professional, chief bravery officer, and tough talk expert. If you're ready to become a better, braver, and more authentic leader, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Small Brave Moves podcast, the show where I help leaders like you take small, intentional acts of courage that transform teams, careers, and lives. Since bravery is at the heart of the work I do with leaders and teams, today I want to talk about the neuroscience behind courage and why it gets easier the more you use it, and how to build what I call your bravery circuitry. Because when the big moment comes, your brain can already know the way. Today, we are going to demystify courage and talk about what's actually happening under the hood when a small brave move happens, or you're intentional and take that small brave move, or lead that brave conversation. So here's the question I want you to consider. What if bravery wasn't a personality trait you either have or you don't, but a trainable habit in your brain? So leadership has always required courage, but today's high-stake workplaces make consistent, conversation by conversation courage a non-negotiable. So let's ground this in reality for just a moment. Organizational change is still failing at alarming rates. In fact, according to McKinsey, about 70% of change programs fail. We can't get it right. And it's largely due to team resistance and lack of management support. And the translation for that? Well, technical plans do not transform organizations. Brave leadership does. So here's the plain English neuroscience, okay? The moment you step towards risk, your brain's alarm system lights up. That spike of fear or hesitation that we feel, totally normal. And at the same time, the prefrontal cortex, well, the rational, let's think this through part of your brain, well, that steps in to regulate the fear that is happening. And it really helps you choose how to respond instead of react. And here's the really powerful part. Every time you do that, every time you regulate the fear and take a small brave move or a small act of courage, you're literally rewiring your brain. And neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. So the repetition strengthens the neural pathways between fear and regulation. I love this part. And the more you practice bravery, well, the easier it becomes to access it again. This is exactly why I created the Small Brave Moves Journal. I wanted leaders to have a tool that doesn't just inspire. I wanted them to have something that actually helps you build those neural pathways daily. So this isn't a reflection for reflection's sake. Think of it as reps. It's reps, it's practice, it's training your brain to choose courage on purpose. Think of bravery like building a trail. The first time you step on it through the brush, it's slow, it might feel a little uncomfortable, but with repetition, that trail becomes a path for you, then a road, then a reflex. So you're not erasing fear. You're actually creating this is safe enough, I can handle it beliefs that compete with the old ones that you have. So let's make this real with a few examples. Let's take a mid-level leader who challenges an outdated process in a team meeting that is strengthening the same neural circuits. They'll need later when recommending a strategic pivot to executives. Or let's take a senior leader who practices saying, I don't know, but let's figure it out together. They're training their brain and the brain of their team to embrace uncertainty, which becomes critical during any transformation. Or let's take a C-suite executive who chooses to have an honest one-on-one about performance instead of postponing it and is preparing their brain for the tougher organization-wide conversations ahead. Well, none of these moments look headline worthy, but they're rewiring the brain for something bigger. And these are exactly the kind of moments that leaders capture inside the Small Brave Moves journal. Small decisions that, when practiced consistently, change how we show up. So, Brave doesn't live in big speeches, it lives in those habits. And when risk ends well, when you speak up and something improves and that dopamine releases in your brain, that's your mind saying, that felt good, do that again. In simple terms, the more you practice bravery, the easier it becomes. This matters because the big moments we see every day, the reorganizations, the advocacy, the big cultural conversations, feel far less overwhelming when your brain is already trained to choose courage over fear. So here's the challenge for you this week. I want you to identify one small situation where your instinct is to stay quiet, delay, maybe even avoid, and that's your opportunity. So maybe that move is giving feedback where you've been holding back. Maybe it's a vulnerable question. Maybe it's simply saying, I don't know, we'll figure it out together. Whatever it is, I want you to remember this. You're not just leading, you're training your brain. And when the stakes are higher, your brain and your team will thank you for this. So, if this episode resonated and you want a tangible way to practice this daily, the Small Brave Moves Journal is available now on Amazon. It is a 90-day courage practice built for leaders and humans who just want to be braver in leadership and in life more consistently, not perfect, just consistently. You'll find the link in the show notes, and that will lead you to the Small Brave Moves Journal. So thank you for tuning in today. And if this episode helped you, share it with someone who's working on being a bit braver too. And until next time, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and keep making your series of small, brave moves. You've got this. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Small Brave Moves podcast. If you're wanting to take this work even deeper, I'm here to help. From engaging in inspirational keynote speeches to transformational coaching and workshops for leaders and teams, page-turning books, online courses, and enlightening leadership development retreats. There are so many ways that we can work together to take your leadership to the next level. For more information, check out the show notes, and let's do this together, one small brave move at a time. See you next week.